Good evening. I am Sensei Kevlar. Welcome back to the Dojo. I really want to take a minute to thank you all for joining me. Last time we learned about the RSI, and we made a plan using support and resistance for buying down, and what we did was we assumed that we would sell at a percent of a profit. I want to start this session by re-examining this assumption. I would consider this to be a basic assumption. And I would observe that when we were buying our way down the market, we made a plan based upon support and resistance because when we knew that's where the market was going to turn around. From a statistical standpoint. Statistically, this is the point at which it would turn around because it is in line with this more often than not. And sure enough, it does. Statistically, this line is correlated again. Statistically, I'm sure we could see a smash on down through here, into here, and that would be statistically correlated. What I want to do is I want to take these examples of selling and buying, and I want to take them all to their logical extreme. Because if we can make a plan going down based upon support and resistance, then surely we can make a plan going up. Let's find our resistance levels based upon the assumption that we're going to be, doing some buying, and figure out a better plan for selling. One that just doesn't involve actually finding support and resistance and relying upon things like the RSI and other indicators, but one that actually has us making the most of our money, creating the best opportunities for us. What we're going to do is, instead of just selling everything as soon as we become in the profit, 10%, like we did in our, or 20%, whatever it is right here. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to wait for the signs. We're going to wait for the signals that let us know. Okay? So if we reach this point, but the RSI is not oversold, we won't sell. Or we'll sell, but we'll adjust how much we'll sell. Well, how much are we going to adjust what it is that we're going to sell by? Well, that's the point of planning, once again, right? If this idea of dollar cost averaging going down is valid going down, then I would submit that it's equally valid going up. Okay? The answer to how much we sell, look, if we're in this from here, if we're doing, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16 all the way down to here, okay? Well, if we have 16 positions down here at the bottom of the market, could we sell 8 of them here, and 4 of them here, and 2 of them here, and make all of our money? Okay? Because the more profit that we're in, right? Where's our profit line again? What we're doing is we're dollar cost averaging our position, right? I'm just going to put our profit line, right? We come on down from here. We hit this, man. We get unlucky. We don't make any money. We get unlucky. We don't make any money. And then here we're going to start, coming up, and it's not going to make us enough money because, look, this is where our profit line ends up. It ends up right here. I don't want to confuse this for... That's not a very great color. Let's do that. I don't want to confuse this for, another resistance or support point, although it could be. This is our profit line. We're just barely peaking above our profit line. We're just barely making any money according to our dollar cost average strategy. Right? What we want to do is we want to plan for the future. So I want to show you a couple different ways of thinking about this. Right? The first way of thinking about this is when you're dollar cost averaging in, the way that I did it here is I used the price and I used one position as what it is I'm buying. Well, that doesn't have to be the way I think about it. The way I could think about it is I could think about spending the same amount of money in BTC instead of in ETH. What this would do is this would transfer how much it is I'm buying into ETH, and I'd still be buying a set amount, one that I computed ahead of time, but I'd be computing my positions differently. The result would be, if I were computing how much I were working in ETH, I'd be working a lot more. I'd be, if I'd be holding a lot less. If I were working in BTC, I'd be holding a lot more. But what happens is when you go to sell on a plan like this one right here, is all the difference, okay? If you do the profit taking according to ETH, then you'll sell a set amount of ETH, just like this says, just like we did here, right? If you do, and what that'll do is that'll buy you more BTC. You'll be gaining more BTC. If, however, you buy and sell a set amount of BTC, what that'll do is that'll gain you ETH for free. The reason for that is because you won't be paying anything. You'll be dollar cost averaging in and then making your BTC back right here above your profit line. And then everything beyond that is free ether. Okay? This is how much, you don't have to sell your entire amount. So these are different ways of planning this out. What you can do is you can take these lines and make different plans. You can make different plans for selling. You can make different plans that have you going, have you selling in fixed amounts of ETH. You can have different plans that have you selling in fixed amounts of BTC. You can have different plans that have you, doing or buying, selling these opportunities. Why? Because the RSI is high, or they don't, and you can go back and test and see if these opportunities work. Okay, but then you run into this problem sometimes when you're making these plans, when you're going through all these different configurations, all these different ways that you can make money, all these different ways in which the market moves against your TA. Because look, man, the TA said you were coming, it was time to turn around, and the market didn't turn around. The market went lower. Said it was time to turn around, and the market didn't turn around. It went lower, and then it kind of, gave you nothing here. And now it's telling you to sell, right? Look, this might be the new trend. You run into this situation where you don't have the information available from the past. You run into this situation where you're in a new market and you don't have what happened in the past. You run into this situation where your information is incomplete. Your information tells you the wrong thing. Your information, frankly, is misleading. Okay? What I want to do is I want to take this to the logical extreme to ensure that the information is valid. What I want to do is I want to incorporate multiple signals into the buying and the selling plan. Look, if the RSI isn't above 80, don't sell. If the RSI isn't below 20, don't buy. Okay? Now, what I want to do is I want to include more indicators into this in order to increase my information. If information is the logical indicator of whether or not the information is valid, if all we have is information about information, sort of a meta-information situation, epistemological situation, how do we know what it is we know? Then all we can do is include more information. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take this to the logical extreme. We're going to pull up the MACD strategy, MACD. What this stands for is Moving Average Convergence Divergence. It's a lot like the RSI in that what it's doing is it's taking the raw numbers and it's computing the gains and the losses, but it's doing that formula a little bit differently. You see, what it's doing is it's weighting each value such that older values become less important and newer values become more important in the equation. So it ends up looking a little bit different. And what it's also doing is, instead of taking one moving average over a time frame, it's going to go ahead and plot two different moving averages, right? A slow one and a fast one. A slow one that's going to contain a lot of information, and a fast one that's going to contain a little bit of information. And so what we're doing is we're just shortening the window on how far back we're looking from that point. What that does is that gives us a RSI-like chart, but it gives us two of them, right? Because we're taking two different values, a long value and a short value. A short value, right? It gives us two different ones. The long value is the orange chart right here, and the short value is the blue one. The blue one moves quickly because it responds to change quickly and doesn't have lots of old information in it. It's very quick to respond to change. The slow one moves very slowly because it incorporates a lot more information from the past. So what we're going to measure is the change in volume over time of the past versus the present. How it has moved recently versus how it has moved in the past. And what you'll see patterns in this, just like you will with the RSI. Okay. When the two lines diverge, when they get across from each other, what it is that they're doing is that they're showing you a change in the slow over the fast. They're showing you how the long-term trend has changed versus the short-term trend. This here is the short-term trend as measured by our weighted moving average. And this here is the long-term trend as shown by the weighted moving average. And you see here how the weighted moving average spikes ahead of the long-term trend. The short-term trend spikes ahead of the long-term trend. And then and they diverge, they become apart. Okay. Then what happens is they come back and they cross. This crossing right here is a signal. This crossing right here is a signal that people pay attention to, and so they trade it. And so naturally, when the RSI comes up here, and they're all excited to get out here, they're going to get out hard here, because look at what the MACD is doing. Look at what the moving average convergence right here, divergence, MACD, moving average convergence divergence is doing. It's crossed back here. Back here it's telling you that the slow has come into line with the fast. That it's time for a trend change. And as soon as the MACD crossed, well, what happened? It turned around again. And then it got here. And what is the RSI telling us? Well, RSI is telling us a double hit here, double triple hit, right? What's the RSI telling us back here? Double triple hit, double triple is a double hit. This is a triple hit right here. These are our opportunities to sell. These are our opportunities to make money. Double hit right here. It's time to sell. Couldn't be more obvious. Okay, and you're worried about, if you're worried about this motion right here. Well, it turns out that this is the same motion in percent-wise. You're making the same amount of money down here. Okay? That's a 50% move right there. You're making 50% on your money. Okay? What's this move right here? That's a 100% move right there. Oh, from all the way down there, sure. What about right here, right? When we get right here, we get dollar cost average down into here. It's a 50% move. They are by and large 50% moves. They are by and large, you know. What's this right here? 40% move, not even the same magnitude. I guess if you pulled it from down here, you could maybe get 50% out of that. There's 50%. The point is that the MACD is just another indicator. What indicators do is they tell you information that you don't have. And that information can be used to optimize your plan. That plan can be made to work in either direction. That plan can work when it's going up or going down. It can work when the market is coming down and when the market is going up, and it can tell you when to sell and when to buy. And if you trade the plan and you plan the trade and trade the plan, it will keep you profitable. It will make you what it is that you want to make. You'll know ahead of time, without spending any money at all, how much you need and how much you'll make. All right, let's move on from the MACD, because the MACD is really a cool signal, but I want to point out something else here. Last time I talked about the statistical deviations that these move in, the standard deviations. And I showed you how when you take a retracement using a Fibonacci sequence, you pull it on down to here, well, these lines match up automatically. It's like automated line drawing, right? This one right here matches up. This one right here got respected over and over. Even this one right here got respected. Here we are down here. And where did it turn around? Just below that. Okay. So these are significant in any, just about every time frame. And the reason that they're significant in just about every time frame is that traders are using them to be mathematical with what it is that they're doing, right? If they're taking this motion right here and they're computing, and they're here in time, back here, and they're measuring this, what they're doing is they're saying, I don't know what's going to happen next. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and project that out into here. And I'm going to schedule my first sale. I'm going to be doing all my buying down into here. I have bought so much with a plan to buy this much down here. Then I'm going to be selling up here. I'm going to be selling at this line right here, and look at what happened. The market went sideways there. I'm going to be selling at this line here, and look at what happened. The market went sideways right here. And I'm definitely going to be selling at this line. And look at what happened. The market went sideways right here. And then am I going to be buying at this line? Yep. And then the market goes sideways. Then I'm going to come down and buy here. And the market can go back up again, where it can go sideways, because I'm going to be doing my selling. Clearly, this is a long-term plan. Clearly, this is a plan that requires you to be in the market for a long term. You allocate the money, you put it in, and you make your money back over time. But sometimes you run into this situation where you don't have enough information, like I was talking about before, where even the MACD and the RSI isn't going to tell you where we're going to go down next, where we're going to go down to next. And in this case, we can use a trend-based fib extension. So rather than the fib retracement, what we're doing now is we're taking a Fibonacci extension from a specific point, and we're projecting it onto a specific point. Okay? To measure something. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take it from the top here down to here. I'm going to measure it back up to here. And I'm going to measure it and extend it on into the future. What I want to point out is that this motion right here is now projected to right here. It's the same motion right here. Here's 0% of the motion. Here's 100% of the motion. All I've done is I've shifted it to the right by this amount. That's what this tool does. It projects a Fibonacci extension to the right. Okay? So where this is useful is when we don't know what's going to happen next, and we want to project based upon prior market motions. What this does is this takes this motion and it makes it the new motion. And what we see is we see startling correlations. Sure enough, based upon this projection right here, right, based upon moving this motion right here over and down to the right by this much, the result was that we had a line that was respected here, again, because we already knew this at the time that we were projecting, and then a line that was respected here, and then a line that was respected here, and then a line that was respected here, over and over and over again. Right here. Right here, the market goes sideways. Okay. Now what we can see is we can actually see something very interesting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this. I'm going to do another one because this is really cool to look at. I'm going to take this motion upward right here. I'm going to project it to right here. I'm going to extend it off into the distance. And sure enough, look at it. It came up and touched that line right there. Sure enough, when it was coming down, it certainly respected this a lot. But when it was coming back up, if all we knew at this point was to project this into the future and we did not know what was going to happen next, and all we did was project this into the future, based upon, based upon that motion right there, just move that on over from here to here, and then we didn't know the rest. Where could we have informed our selling? Right on the resistance lines that these things drew for us. We don't even need them anymore. All we need is our profit line at this point. We're now at the point in our studies where we don't even need the resistance lines anymore. It's so evident that the Fibonacci retracements are what the traders are trading on. Look at this right here. We didn't know anything about this, and yet here they are trading it. Okay. Could we have found this one? Found this motion based upon the prior, based upon knowing this? Of course we could have. Watch this. Take it from the bottom here to the top here to the bottom here, and then project it into the future like we don't know what's about to happen. Of course we know what's about to happen. Every single time. Every time. It's all they're doing. Okay? So if this is what traders are doing, if they're sitting here working these motions, if they're sitting here working these projections, setting their bots to program, programming their bots based upon these projections, this is easy money. Look at how they respect those, right? Every single time. Okay? Then it comes up and it does it again. Well, I guess it's time to do it again. It's time to make our money again. Where are we going to make our money? I'll tell you where we're going to make our money. From the top to the bottom to the top again. And then we're just going to extend that into the future. Now we finally know what we need to know. Here is the actual points of entry that have been eluding us this whole time. You want to see if these correlate? I bet they do. I won't even look at the past. What I'll do is I'll just put horizontal lines on right where they project. Right here. Right here. Right here. Did they intercept right here and the market turn around? Yes, of course. Did they intercept right here and right here and right here, and did the market turn around? Yes, of course. Did it go sideways right here before busting on through and going all the way down to the bottom and turning back around? Yeah, of course it did. There's no magic here. These are the numbers to trade. Literally. Test it. Don't believe me? That's what I ask you to do. I ask you to not believe me, and I ask you to make a plan instead. I ask you to make a plan to buy down to here and here and here and figure out how much it is you're going to make. And that's the way of the trader. That's how you plan the trade and trade the plan. There's no magic here. It's simply studying the same trends that the other traders are doing. And the result? Well, look, you know exactly where you have to buy again. Here's the line you don't know about. Right there. There, if I get my tools to work. Okay. Okay. Now we've got our plan. Now we know exactly how to make money in this market. No matter what. No matter what happens, no matter how close this thing comes to zero, we're all set up to make money in this market. Because we're just going to dollar cost average all the way down to here. Unless it goes, until it goes up to here. And now what we've done is we've taken this to the logical extreme. What we've done is we've said the plan is to make sure that we always have as many signals as we possibly can, as many correlations, as many statistical signals in order to inform our decision making as we possibly can. Is 6 enough? Does 6 keep us profitable? Is 7 enough? Does 7 keep us profitable? Is 8, 9, 10 enough? These are things that are testable. Make a rule that says I only sell when the RSI is above, 80. And I'm only going to sell so much. I'm only going to sell 50% of my position. I'm only going to sell, so much. I'm only going to sell, a quarter of my position. I'm only going to sell an eighth of my position. I'm only going to sell half my position each time. If you buy up half of your position each time, then selling down half of your position each time makes total sense. It makes you money because your profitability line is anything above this. Selling right here. Right here. It's easy. It's just money in your pocket. If you dollar cost average down 3 times, then sell up 3 times. Here's your profit line. All this is just additional profit. You get to the point where you've made back all your money and now you're sitting on free money. But only if you have a plan that takes you all the way down to here. Hopefully at this point, I've drilled into the value of technical analysis from a statistical standpoint. The value of technical analysis is that you can build a strategy which is highly correlated with market motions, with market volatility. Are we due for another dump right here? Absolutely we are. If we come down past here, do you want to have your money ready? You had better if you want to make your money. What does that inform? That informs that you had better be selling right here. And making a plan all the way down here. But are you going to sell all of it? No, I hope not. I hope you're going to sell, you're going to hang on to a lot of it for up here. And that's the way of the trader. It's to always be in the market. It's a constant thing, right? It's a mindset. It's a lifestyle. Sitting here and figuring out these things and how much you're going to sell all the way up the market to make all of your money. Well, that's how you make your money when the market's going down. So you buy it up. You look for other markets. So that's what we're going to talk about on Monday, is we're going to talk about what happens when the market just goes down and down and down. Because that's no fun. Obviously, this will make you money when the market goes up. But what about when the market just goes down? What about when it's just dismal the whole way? There's no money to be made in the whole thing. How can we make money buying then? Well, on Monday, let's talk about the mindset for how to make money in markets that just go down. Because it does happen. And it turns out there is a mindset to this, and it can help with this. It can really make this a lot better. It can make it so you're making money even when you're seeing lots of down markets. So I really look forward to that opportunity. And I hope to see you all then. Thank you very much.